Neema Mwande. Yes, my daughter. She's going to share tips for the time of the COVID pandemic. But I will let her introduce herself and do her thing. Karibuni, Neema.
Hello, my name's Neema. I am a third-year student at Northern School of Contemporary Dance. I am talking to you today, just sharing kind of my findings and my experiences and the knowledge I've gained surrounding maintaining a well-being routine in your everyday life, and how you can use little bits of lots of different things to improve your life step by step, which is something that I have felt that I've used this year to really get a grasp on. I've had a history of my own mental health problems with depression and anxiety, and I feel that I'm at a place where I'm coming out of it, and I just wanted to share some of my self-care tips, which are all free and affordable, because I think that's very important, and so maybe you can implement them in your own life and kind of find some sort of peace within yourself and wellness for the pandemic experience that we're all in at the minute. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now, how did you find the pandemic anyway, to start with?
Well, how did I find it? It's actually been a roller coaster of a year. There's been moments where I've been like, let me out. But also being an introverted person, I've quite enjoyed having the time to self-reflect and be, on a very personal level, be, just able to concentrate on the things that I need. Socially and everything else, though, it's been a stress. But yeah, I feel like it's been a journey.
Okay, fantastic. Now, if we go to the point, now you can tell everyone how you managed to survive this pandemic. What did you do, and what tips do you have for other people?
So in terms of surviving the pandemic, apart from staying at home and washing my hands, it's been a lot of, it's kind of because we've had so much freedom, and it's almost felt as if it's been one long continuous day. It's been a lot of me finding ways to break it up and how to be present in each day, rather than thinking about how I'm just rolling through with life and not really having a clear ending to it. So it's been, for me, a lot of implementing little routines and practices into my daily life to make me feel like I'm living my life, which I think is something that we can all value in a time when you're just repeating days and waiting and hoping that it's going to come to an end. One of the biggest things that I've done is to set myself a morning routine and give myself space first thing in the morning every day. That is never time. That is simply for me, and I think everyone can do it in whatever time frame that they have. So I just get up a bit earlier, so I have about an hour to just prepare for whatever I need to do. So I just have maybe 30 minutes. Don't go on my phone first thing in the morning. You don't want to do that, because you're either going to see some COVID news or some emails or some work. And especially when you're working from home, it's difficult to separate your work and your home life, especially when it's all under one roof. So I make sure every morning I get up, brush my teeth, feed my animals, get myself some breakfast, chill in my room, and like check my diary to make sure I know everything I have to do for that day. And then I have also started setting an intention each morning for how I want to be that day. So I check in with myself and see how I'm feeling, how tired I am, if I got a good night's sleep, if I'm hungry, how hungry am I? Little just having a moment to connect to me first before I do anything else. And then the intention comes in, it's like, okay, so today I have 3 Zoom classes. So I'm doing a dance course from home. So I would have been doing Zoom in my living room or kitchen, which is tiring. You wouldn't think it is, but trying to navigate the space is long. So yeah, it's just kind of be like, okay, so I have these things to do. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to persevere and I'm going to be positive with my mindset today. And it's kind of, once I set that in the morning, I can, I've made a statement to myself, and then I can refer back to it every time I feel myself getting a bit like I can't be able to do this. And I can be like, I can, it's nearly the end. And it kind of helps me to just, once you've set your space in the morning and you set yourself, then it's easier to refer back to it. Whereas if you don't do that, you don't have anything to kind of check in with throughout the day.
Okay. Apart from that routine, I understand routine is very important in life, and the time management and that kind of thing. And another thing that to go with that routine, what I know you alluded to that a little bit, what you do, but I'm sure your day does not just end up in the morning. So
no, it goes on.
So how you manage to go, because with your mental health thing. So with the pandemic, you stand indoors, not seeing most of your friends, not getting about. For a young person, that's quite tricky. Now, how did you? I know you got a routine, but what other thing did you incorporate in your day?
Okay, so one thing that I do make sure that I try to do regularly throughout the week, I won't say every day because, you know, life, but I have to go outside. I think it's really important to step out of your space or your bubble, whatever it is, and just go and see that the world is bigger than the four walls that you're in. And because really, when you're in the house, you've only got access to the internet and the TV and the walls around you. So I think it's really important to go outside, and it's something that my counsellor and my mother is always telling me to go outside and get some fresh air, which it does make a massive difference, because I like to just go and kind of be present in that time that I'm outside, and it kind of gives me a little bit of a refresher and a reminder that everything is much bigger than me, and so my whole world doesn't just exist within my head. I also make sure, this is very important, that I am active every single day. I'm a very active person and I need to move my body, but I think that a lot of people don't realize that they do need to move their body as well. So I have really started to implement a lot of yoga into my day, and it's been actually very educational. I think I kind of went into it as that I just wanted to, my goal with yoga was that I wanted to just try it out and to get more flexible and to support my dance training. But from doing it over the past year or so, about doing it for a year, like properly for like since the beginning of this year, so 2021, I've learned a lot of transferable skills that I wouldn't have imagined. So even the breathing techniques and the connection, yoga just means union with yourself. So those kind of little mind reminders that I get from yoga, so to breathe with how I move my body, I can remind myself throughout the day, and it just keeps me connected to my body and stretching the energy throughout my body. Because I think when you're sitting, especially if you're at a laptop or at a desk or even just on the couch, you're just letting energy stagnate and build tension in your stressful places. So I build a lot of it in my shoulders and neck. I think a lot of people my age do as well, because phones and stuff. So I think that you can feel the difference. 1 week of stretching every single day and you're going to be like, wow, oh my God. And you can walk taller, you feel better, because you're just allowing all the energy centers in your body to work together, rather than just tightening everything up and letting it all stagnate within your body, which is not useful. And when you do stop doing that practice, you're going to feel it. One day of not stretching and I'll be walking around thinking, oh, my back. So it's been a very useful part of my day-to-day. Checking in with myself is another really important thing, which I've done through the pandemic. I've made sure that it took me a really long time. It's taken me probably about 4 years, which is my whole university course, to understand what being kind to yourself is. Like, it's something that gets thrown around a lot, especially if you're like speaking to people about your mental health or just well-being in general. It's a lot about, oh, well, you need to be nice to yourself, but you're not really. I didn't feel that I was told exactly how that worked, or for my brain, it didn't really translate. But through the pandemic, I've had the opportunity to be able to work out what that means for me. So a lot of it is checking in with how I feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, anything, and allowing myself the time to deal with those needs. And I found that by putting myself first in those situations and working out what I need, I'm able to perform better in other aspects of my life, which is something that I think in our generation, because it's quite like results focused, like you need to get this in by then, you need to do this amount, you need to do work. I think it's important that you don't sell yourself short. And I think a lot of the things that I've done before the pandemic was to kind of work myself into to the point of burnout, and then just be burnt out for however long, because obviously with mental health problems as well, that my burnout would last months even, and I just wouldn't be able to do anything. And the work that I produced leading up to that burnout it's not my standard, and that just comes and builds on frustration later. So I found that if I just take the moment, and if I feel myself getting really in my head, and like I'm really like, you can feel it in your body as well, where you just like everything feels too much and you're very overwhelmed, I just decide to be like, okay, I'm gonna be sad right now. And I just like to say, woe is me, close my laptop, close my books, and just give myself the evening or the afternoon or the morning, however long, just to kind of melt into that feeling and allow yourself to be upset or disappointed or sad or just really tired. And do you know, so the amount of time, so I've done this, and then I realized that my recovery time is so much quicker, and I'm able to get back to doing the work I want to do and need to do and it comes out well because I've allowed myself to decompress. And I think that is the number one lesson that I learned, is just, I would say, decompressing of yourself, just letting all the stress, feel it, let it go, and continue. And especially when you're locked in the house doing everything online, it can build up very easily and very quickly, even if you may have been on top of it before being in a lockdown. So I think that's something that I've made sure is part of my day to day.
Fantastic. I wish I could do that.
You can. Everyone can do it. You know how I actually did start doing it? It's because I had to work on it. The first thing I started doing was just journaling. And I'm not a very journaly person. I don't really like sitting down and writing. But once I forced myself to do 2 minutes of free writing each day, it kind of taught me how to access thinking about myself directly. And I think that's where it just started for me. And then now I've explored other avenues like meditation, mindfulness, and yoga. They've taught me different tools in their own ways that I can use to check in with myself in a way that works for me. So I don't necessarily have to journal, but I can access that perspective or that kind of approach within myself in different ways.
Thank you very much for that, because I think it's something that not many people do. We all can work. I think, especially with this time of the pandemic, the NHS staff or the key workers, just work, try to look after other people, and we don't look after ourselves. So there's a lot of burnout and a lot of stress. So it's nice to have some little thing that we can put in our lives to make things a little bit easier and more cheerful, if you like. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Now, have you been going outside?
Yes, I have been going outside. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the outdoors help at all? Yeah, going to the wood for a walk, go to the park, that kind of stuff. How does that
100%. It definitely works. I've undersold it for years. 22 years, I've never appreciated going outside so much. But I think it's even just putting your headphones on, just go and listen to your favorite songs. I don't know what it is, but just I think the action of like moving and just doing nothing just makes me so happy. And I don't even care when I'm out on my walks. I'll be dancing along looking like a crazy person, because you can't even just fake that amount of joy that you have when you're just outside and you've got nowhere to go. You're not walking anywhere in particular, you're just walking for the sake of it, listening to some music. And another thing that I really love about when I go for my walks is that I always look up at the sky, and I've just been obsessed with clouds recently because I really just want to paint some clouds. But so even when I just look up at the sky and it's not the ceiling, I feel so much more free and so much more freedom. And it kind of gives me a little moment to be creative within my mind, and I can think about long-term plans, short-term plans, the past with a more kind of relaxed eye and a kind of a more lightheartedness. It just makes everything just chilled out for a quick second.
Good. I think I feel sorry for you. I think you got that love for the cloud from your father. I think that's a nightmare. You keep seeing things in the cloud as it just, I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. So okay. Before we thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for sharing all that. And do you any final words for everyone? Any message to everyone, or any, especially the young people out there, because I think it has been a very, very stressful time for everyone. But I think young people, they need to get out, let that energy out to do stuff, and university is a place for fun. And now I think with the pandemic, universities have been a nightmare, if you like, because a lot of stuff you guys you couldn't do. So I think you'll be shortchanged. So is there anything, any advice you want to pass on to our other young people?
Yeah, I think that the best thing we can do when you can't go out and find fun is just to find ways to have fun with yourself. So like, I just treat yourself as if you are your best friend. That's the number one thing you can do, because I think once you learn to be able to spend time by yourself, and this is the perfect time to be learning to do that, you are able to do so much more. You've got more time, you don't feel as lonely. I mean, it is a lonely time to be in, especially if you're at university, you're not with your family, or you live with friends, or even if you're living in halls of residence, it can be very isolating, but you can find things within that time to do by yourself. So obviously I've done yoga, painting is another one of my hobbies, drawing, anything creative, anything that you can sink your teeth in. Or if you're not a creative person, I don't know, make some spreadsheets, start making up random stuff, like just do something that you can find a little bit of like you time in and that's fun. I think if you just allow yourself to have fun while you just be doing nothing, then you will open up so many more possibilities for yourself. So basically things you need to do daily is stretch, eat well, 3 meals a day if you can, vegetables too, deep breaths, always deep breaths. If you're ever feeling stressed or like you're like sat like this, 3 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you'll just feel yourself connected. You can only think about your breath. That means you're only thinking about that moment. So you've connected there, you've had a moment of mindfulness, and you can move forwards. And also a number one thing that I think everyone should do in this pandemic is find something that you think is really beautiful, or something that brings you only joy to look at, and just look at it every day. So at the minute, I have my flowers right here. And every time I look at them, the only thing that I can think is, oh, they're nice. And then that's my gratitude moment done for the day. So I feel like something nice is in my life. And I think that's played a big role. So that's something that everyone can do. It doesn't have to cost money. It can be a corner of your room that you just make look nice. The rest of your room can be a mess. But when you look at that corner, you think, that's nice. And that's all you need. A moment of that's nice every day.
Okay. Thank you much. Thank you very much, Neema, for that. And it's amazing, and very, very, I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Dad.